Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most memorable and, frankly, disastrous creative endeavors from our favorite talking dog, Brian Griffin. That's right, we're talking about the time Brian decided to become a video game developer. It's a story of ambition, delusion, and a whole lot of misguided pretentiousness. So, let's set the scene. This all goes down in the Season 12 episode, Brian's a Bad Father. Brian, ever the struggling writer looking for his next big break, decides that the literary world just isn't ready for his genius. So, what's the next logical step for an intellectual, Martina-sipping canine? Obviously, it's to create a groundbreaking video game. But this isn't just any video game. No. Brian isn't interested in making some fun, mindless shooter or a colorful platformer. He sets his sights on creating something profound, something that will make players think. He conceives a game called Apathy, a title that perfectly encapsulates Brian's signature brand of pseudo-intellectualism. The game's protagonist, a mailman who just walks. That's it. He just walks through a bleak, grey suburban landscape. There are no enemies, no puzzles, no objectives. The gameplay is literally just holding the joystick forward. Brian is completely convinced he's onto something revolutionary. He pitches it to Stewie, who, being a tech genius, is the perfect person to help bring this vision to life. Stewie, ever the pragmatist, is immediately skeptical. He points out the obvious. The game sounds incredibly boring. He asks, where's the fun? Where are the power-ups? The explosions? But Brian waves it all away. He claims it's an allegory for the soullessness of modern life, a commentary on the monotonous drudgery of the 9-to-5 existence. It's not meant to be fun. It's meant to be art. This is classic Brian Griffin, isn't it? He's so caught up in the idea of being perceived as a deep, thoughtful artist that he completely misses the point of the medium he's working in. Video games, at their core, are about engagement and interaction. Even the most artistic walking simulators have a compelling narrative, beautiful environments, or an emotional core that draws the player in. Apathy has none of that. It's just a grey sidewalk and a mailman. Despite his better judgment, Stewie agrees to help. He dives into the coding and development, while Brian takes on the role of the ideas guy, which mostly involves him sipping wine and offering vague, pretentious directions. We see a hilarious montage of Stewie pulling all-nighters, fueled by energy drinks, while Brian lounges around, critiquing Stewie's work with comments like, No, the grey needs to be more existential. Finally, the big day arrives. They're ready to showcase Apathy at a major video game convention in San Francisco. Brian is beaming with pride, fully expecting to be hailed as the next Hideo Kojima. He imagines gamers weeping at the profound statement his game is making. He's picturing 5-star reviews, industry awards, and maybe even a TED Talk. They set up their little booth, wedged between massive, flashy displays for blockbuster titles. And then the gamers start to arrive. The first kid who sits down to play is utterly bewildered. He keeps asking, what do I do? Am I supposed to fight something? Brian, in his most condescending tone, explains that the point is that there is no point. The kid, completely unimpressed, just gets up and walks away to a booth with giant robots and explosions. This pattern repeats itself throughout the day. Gamer after gamer tries Apathy, gets bored within seconds, and leaves. They're confused, they're annoyed, and most of all, they're not having any fun. The reaction is overwhelmingly negative. Even the most niche indie game enthusiasts can't find anything to praise. One critic roasts it, calling it less of a game and more of a screensaver for a depressed person's computer. The rejection is a massive blow to Brian's ego. He can't understand why nobody gets his masterpiece. He blames the gamers, calling them simple-minded and unable to appreciate true art. He refuses to accept that maybe, just maybe, his game is fundamentally flawed. He gets into arguments, defending his vision with increasingly desperate and pretentious justifications. It's a spectacular meltdown, and its peak, Brian Griffin. Stewie, who saw this coming from a mile away, finally confronts him. He lays out the hard truth. Brian wasn't trying to make a good game. He was trying to create an accessory for his own ego. Hughes, so obsessed with appearing smart and deep that he forgot to make something people would actually want to play. The game wasn't an exploration of apathy. It was a product of it. Brian was too lazy and self-absorbed to put in the real effort required to create something genuinely compelling. This moment is the crux of the entire storyline. It's a brutal but necessary reality check for Brian. His artistic pursuits are often just a front for his insecurities. He wants the acclaim of being a great writer or a great game designer without doing the hard work or having the genuine talent to back it up. He prioritizes the idea of being an artist over the actual craft. Defeated and humiliated, Brian and Stewie pack up their booth. The apathy experiment is a total failure. But it's also a valuable lesson, the one that Brian will probably forget by the next episode. It is a hilarious satire of the pretentious side of the art world and a perfect character study of Brian's deepest flaws. He wants to be seen as a sophisticated intellectual, but his efforts often come across as shallow and lazy. What makes this storyline so brilliant is how well it understands both Brian's character and the video game industry itself. It pokes fun at the art game phenomenon, where some developers can get lost in their own concepts and forget the player. But it also serves as a great commentary on Brian's persistent need for validation. He doesn't just want to create, he wants to be applauded for creating. When that applause doesn't come, his entire self-worth crumbles. So, what do you think? Was Apathy a misunderstood masterpiece, or was it just as terrible as it sounded? Could a game like that actually succeed in the real world? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I think we can all agree it was a hilarious disaster and a classic Family Guy moment. It reminds us that sometimes a game about a mailman just walking is exactly that tend. Nothing more. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Brian's biggest failures, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content about your favorite animated shows. Ring that notification bell too, so you never miss an upload. We'll see you in the next one.